Hey comic book fans, welcome back to another episode of Comic Book Geezers. I am Wild Bill the Unknown Comic, your host, and my co-host, partner in crime.
And I am Pete. How's everybody doing? We've got a fantastic show for you today. We're going to be featuring villains for this guy right here.
Captain America.
And this guy right here. And this guy right here. Top 5 villains. He's got some amazing villains.
Jack Kirby.
Yep. Kirby is back. Kirby is king. So how we're going to run this one today is Bill is going to take and tackle his top 5 villains for Captain America, and I'm going to do the one-hit wonder. So I'll turn it over to him, and he can get us started here.
All right. So, of course, everyone would probably agree the number one villain.
No mystery there, right?
The Red Skull.
That's right.
And I pulled a few from my collection. My Captain America collection isn't as big as Pete's, but it's growing. So this is probably my favorite Red Skull cover from the 20-cent era, 1972.
He was such a great villain, man. He had so many great lines.
So
if you watched our favorite lines,
classic lines,
yeah.
He spews venom constantly. Great. This is what is that? 184. This is issue 185. The Red Skull. And here he is in 189. The Red Skull. We'll get rid of that glare.
Should have told me I could have brought some of my old Kirby stuff with the skull on it. Kirby
I had so much homework to do. This I bought off the rack. This is the first Captain America I bought off the rack when I was a teenager. This is probably 1978, maybe 79. But an army of Red Skulls.
Yeah. Not just one. If one isn't bad enough, right?
Multiple Red Skulls. Very cool concept. Very cool cover.
Nick Fury being threatened at the bottom there.
Number 2, I have to go with Hydra.
You got him.
Hail Hydra.
That looks like a Johnny Romita cover. Awesome.
Look how the Captain America, we talked about this in the past, how they constantly change that title. And you'll see it again here with Hydra. See, they experimented. Switching things up.
Yep, they did.
Again, another issue of Hydra.
Is that a Neil Adams cover?
I'm not sure.
It looks like it.
You could probably find out. Yeah. That's issue 147. Then I have to go with number 3. I went with, based on what I have in my collection, I went with the Gargoyle. Probably not something most people would think of.
That's surprising, but a cool villain nonetheless. Yeah,
and you know, again, I'm limited to what I have, but my Captain America collection stops at 230. But my oldest is like 119, and he shows up.
A bunch of there was a period where he was quite
and that's how I base my observation. You know, because I wasn't really a big Captain America fan when I was a teenager. I only had like 4 or 5 of them. You know, because my big guys were Iron Man, Spider-Man, and the Hulk. But
the Grey Gargoyle, say that fast 5 times. He was originally a big villain of Thor, but then he moved on to Captain America, where we started to see him a lot as
and so he's popped up a few times. I was like, I got to pick this guy.
Yeah, that's a good
then,
choice.
You know, you may even think this is an obscure pick because this was a tough challenge for me. It would have been a lot easier for me to do the one-hit wonders, but I picked the Scorpion and Dr.
Mr. Hyde.
Mr. Hyde. Dr. Jekyll. But yeah, they give Captain America and the Falcon a hard time.
There he is again, Mr. Hyde.
Yeah.
I agree with you. I think Cap had a couple villains that showed up a lot, and then a bunch of guys who maybe weren't as prolific, but like some of the ones you've been showing, they would pop up from time to time.
So then I had to go with the Yellow Claw.
You got to, right? Yeah.
And he fought Iron Man, the Yellow Claw, I believe.
Shield all the time, and quite frankly, the Yellow Claw.
Fight Nova?
Perhaps.
I think the Yellow Claw.
But historically, you made a good pick there because before Cap came to Marvel, like in those old Captain America stories back in the 40s and 50s, the Yellow Claw was his nemesis all the time. Oh,
okay.
Yeah. So that's a great pick.
Kudos to me. All right.
See that?
Another Yellow Claw.
There you go.
Issue. Even though he's not on the cover, he's part of the story.
He's there. He's right in the middle. You can barely see him. He's right in the middle.
Oh, yeah. He's very tiny.
Yeah, he's tiny. Teeny tiny.
That's 167. The other one was 165. I think that's it for
honorable
5.
mentions, yeah.
I do have honorable mentions.
This next one's a good one.
Dr. Faustus?
Yeah. He was a prick, that guy.
I just got this from our buddy Paul this spring. Thank you, Paul. And I had this one. I picked this one up about 2 years ago. This is issue 192.
He was kind of like Cap's version of the Kingpin. Like the Kingpin was like a thorn in the side of Spider-Man around that time. Dr. Faustus was.
This is great though. He's kicking him out of the helicopter.
Big burly guy with no superpowers, but man, he was a pain in the ass.
Honorable mention. I did this for Pete specifically. Stiltman. Stiltman. Because he shows up.
Yep, he does.
A couple times.
Yep.
Great covers though, man.
Looking pretty metallic there.
191 and 190.
They really wanted to push the Stiltman, because he showed up everywhere.
Yeah.
Yeah, not
disgruntled fireman that he is. Honorable mention of all time, I have to give to the Incredible Hulk. Probably the second best Hulk appearance in a cover of Captain America. Obviously, the classic is the Jim Steranko issue 110.
Yeah.
And this is number 2. I mean, this is the cherry on top. You know,
you don't need to see him. All you need to see is that fist, right?
And it's like if it wasn't the shield is amazingly strong, holding up the Hulk's punch. Because look at how that wall is caving in behind Captain America.
Because without that shield, man,
his face would be part of that wall. It's amazing.
What issue is that again?
This is
230. What is that?
This is 230. Yeah.
All right. I need that. I don't have that.
So it's the last one in my collection of.
It's a good last one to have.
Yeah, it's the last one. I stop right here. I don't need to go any further. But let's see what you got for one-hit wonders.
So my original one-hit wonder stack was enormous, and I'm like, I got it, because he had, again, I picked mostly from like the mid-late 70s, and a lot of the characters, Marvel Comics in that era, had a lot. You know what it was? They reused the classic villains so many times that throughout the mid-late 70s, they tried to introduce a lot of new ones. And not a lot of good ones.
Okay,
so here we got the Alchemoid.
I saw this when I was going through my collection. I thought this would be a good.
How could you not, right?
For a one-hit wonder,
never to be seen again. They love picking those like android characters. Here, this was like I forgot I even owned this. They called this character Lucifer.
And that's what, 177?
This is 177. In fact, if you go look him up on the internet, you can't even find the information on this guy. That's how quickly he disappeared, right? And no, it's not Lucifer.
But what a menacing name, Lucifer.
I know, yeah. It's just like...
Thanks for being on our show.
That's right. Here's another one. This is Moonstone.
Oh, I've heard of Moonstone.
Yeah, no, they created another character that was female later on.
That fought the Hulk. She appeared in the Hulk.
But this is the only time this Moonstone ever appeared.
Wow. And because it's Marvel Comics, I guess they can get away with that.
Yeah, and they
use the same name but change the gender. Moonstone.
How about this one? We got some Gene Colan art here. The Man Brute.
Oh, yeah. What number is that? 151? 121.
So again, this is a character that they used the super soldier serum on to try and do away with Captain America. Obviously, it did not work into their favor, and the Man Brute was never to be seen again.
I don't have that one.
And then I got another one. This is, of course, only Jack Kirby would create something like this.
I have this.
Agron.
He
looks like one of those monsters from Monsters on the Prowl.
Sounds like a new medication, doesn't it?
Exactly. Agron, do not take if you want to experience depression and constipation.
Agron at your pharmacy now.
Exactly. So I could have picked more, but I figured
you guys can take Agron if I'm getting on your nerves. Take some Agron, please.
But if you have suicidal thoughts, then you should stop immediately.
Love it. All right, gang. Man. That wraps up our Captain America top 5 villains and one-hit wonders.
Hope you enjoyed that. We got more of these coming, so stay tuned in the weeks to come.
Whatever you do, don't get Agroned with us, okay?
Stay away from the Agron. That's bad news.
I'm so Agron-baited, you know what I'm saying? All right, gang. Thanks for being here. I'm Wild Bill, as always. Thanks for being here, and we appreciate your subscriptions and your comments. Keep them coming. We'll see you next time.
And I'm Pete. It's been a blast. We'll see you next week. Take care. Bye-bye.